You're listening to Bold Hearts, Big Moves, the show for female entrepreneurs who want it all: a thriving business, deep self love, and fulfilling relationships. I'm Erin Anderson, and each week we will dive into how to set stronger boundaries, make empowered choices, and show up in life and business with boldness, authenticity, and heart. Because let's be real, the money you make is directly related to the love that you have for yourself and the strength of your relationships. So if you're ready to lead with love and make those big moves with those bold hearts, let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bold Hearts, Big Moves. Guys, I have with us just such a treat. My good friend Micheal Blair. Now, Micheal and I have known each other for, oh goodness, years,
Years. It's
years,
yeah,
years. We've known each other for years, and we've
fif-
we actually years and a few months.
over 15 years, I think.
Yeah, easy. Because I think I saw you before I had Tate, my second son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And so we have been good friends for a long time. Chatted, we collaborated a lot. And today he's with me to collaborate on a fabulous podcast because we're going to talk about the happy family and how you can create a happy family around you. Because I know for me, as a female entrepreneur, a mom, someone who's building an online business, if my family is in chaos, well, guess where my business is too, right? And so Micheal comes on, he's a licensed therapist, but he's also transitioning more into the coaching side of things, um, with his spin therapy and his just genius brain. We'll just go with that. And so we're going to talk about the spin today, and we're also going to talk about like how to anchor into having that happy family so that way you can have the success that you want. So, Micheal, thank you very much for being with us today.
You're very, very welcome. It's a fun day to have an intersection with you on your podcast to experience you at your best, which is really fun for some period of time. Just banter about the things that we both love and cherish and believe in because we have like minds. We
Hmm.
follow very closely similar path, which is not really quite common actually in the world of mental health today. So we
Yeah.
actually adding something additional to what's being offered there. We're not going to say they're bad boys and we're good boys. We're just going to say they're good boys and we're good boys. And we're going to work together best we can.
Yeah, absolutely. And because that's the thing, like I know for me, like one of the common things I used to think was like when my kids were in chaos or my husband was in chaos, that it was somehow working against me. And I like how you said that. And the truth of the matter is they're not working against you. It's just a type of dysfunction. And guess what? Every family has it. You can, like, I know some of the best families who have great functionality, but there's still those little tiny bits of dysfunction even there. And the reason why is because we live in just kind of not the most functional world. And we have to deal with that. And we have to deal with many schedules and we have to deal with, right? But I love that you're saying that, we need to have some type of function. And this is where I go into like the boundary side of things, right? Is that once we can kind of function within ourselves and we know ourselves and we love ourselves and we operate in that capacity, it's so much easier, I think, for us. And I'd like to hear your thoughts about this. It's so much easier for us as, especially as female entrepreneurs, but also men in general, to have that spill out onto our families and our clients and the people that we influence. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do. Absolutely. Yeah, when you talk about the happy family factor, the degree of happiness we have in our life is often measured by how happy we really are in our relationships at the closest, dearest levels.
Yes.
All of the outside activities pale to the importance of that situation. Many of us actually go out there and get excited about all those things and don't really know what to do with getting our families together,
Yeah.
put it together at home. And so we have this underlying, you know, overwhelmment or this underlying sad
Fear.
fear, doubt.
Hmm.
We're really afraid for our children. We're afraid for ourselves, even. But we can kind of go out and feed from different activities out here. Even podcasting, can be addictive,
Yeah.
and so can therapy. I mean, I've spent years really enjoying the fun of that process, and 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 still am working diligently to facilitate the best situation at home. And I think we're getting better and better. We have a great family. I got 27 grandkids, and we all love each other and meet together at least a few times a year on the phone back and forth all the time, on meeting on Sundays for our gatherings, and so we have a great outstanding family, and we still have the need for some of the things that we're going to talk about today.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Like I said, I've been doing like this spiritual journey and this growth journey for years, really, honestly, ever since you've known me, right?
Yeah.
I've been on that path. I've totally been on that path. And it's the same thing. Like you're right. Like I'm still finding ways that um I need to improve, whether it be, financially or time management or my own self-perception or the perception I have of others or the ones that are in my family, right?
Absolutely.
It all comes down to how we harmonize within ourselves. And so I do definitely want to talk about this tool that you have, this spin therapy, right?
Yep. Well, let me just give you one fresh piece that came in the door yesterday from my niece out in South Dakota. She is part of her husband is a Lakota tribesman there, chief there over there, and she is one quarter Navajo, and we're working together to help those people there. But she said, I just gave her the spin a week ago, and she said, "Oh, you know what happened? I can't believe it. I I had this tooth that was bothering me so bad, and I called my dentist and set an appointment, and then I did the spin on it, and you know what happened? By the time I got to the dentist, I didn't have any more pain, and he couldn't find any problems, and I just went home." Now, that's not normally the purpose. The reason we use the spin is more for, counteracting annoyances and sibling rivalries and upset with kids and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
But guess
right.
what? This particular tool was discovered when two bright trainers that I know from 30 years ago, 25 years ago, they tweaked a process recipe and her headache went away. Boop.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Oh, I think we've got something here." And
Mm-hmm.
so we do use this for allergies and headaches and all kinds of fun things you wouldn't imagine. But my primary focus in its utilization is around if we can do that with pain in a tooth, we can do that around emotional pain.
Well, most likely because, one thing that I've learned in my journey is a lot of the physical pain that we deal with, it started somewhere emotionally, and it might not even be necessarily something that we ourselves have dealt with personally emotionally. It could be ancestral because our emotions actually have the ability to change our physical DNA, right? And because the reason why is because our emotions are there as messengers to tell us if we're safe, if we're not safe, if there's something we need to change or not change. They are literally the catalyst from our subconscious to our conscious brain, right? And so you could have had an ancestor like several generations back that had some sort of an emotional response that changed the chemical DNA in their body for survival and for safety. And you might be dealing with that, you know, right now, and you're not sure why this certain thing hurts. And so, I've noticed like when we deal with like emotions inside of us, it is amazing what it does to heal our nervous system, and our nervous system is responsible for like the tooth and the headaches and a lot of the other things too. Like a lot of our physical components and a lot of the physical stuff that we deal with is because of some type of an emotional reaction somewhere.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think there's plenty of evidence on that. We could talk about that for a long time. I think the the most exciting piece of what we're working on here is taking the pain, helping people take the pain out with our help for a minute.
Yeah,
Them learning to do their pain out that's left or that comes up through the speed bumps of life for the rest of their lives. And implanting into the children and the parents a regular, I'm talking daily, kind of a routine of some kind that utilizes the tools and the skills that we have to share here, that so they don't get left on the shelf and forgotten. It's
right.
a book, let's just say a good book on the shelf is just a good book on the shelf. It doesn't, if it isn't read fairly frequently, you forget what you had on the shelf.
Mm, that's
So,
true.
so you and I have talked a little bit even today about routines,
Hmm.
and the spin would be of no value to most people if they didn't use it. This
Yeah.
process will take you out of your pain and plug into you the good stuff you want plugged in about 10 minutes and actually drop back to as young as three, if that's where you go in the process, and then grow all the way up to the adult age, install that into you and allow you to program that into your future so that you now feel really, really good about your sister that you were annoyed to 10 minutes ago.
Yep. And go figure, we still get annoyed with siblings even in our adult ages, don't we? And in and our spouses and our kids and everything like that. And so, so you're saying like with this spin and stuff like that, that it helps you find out like where the root cause is, because usually that's somewhere in childhood, right? Like we learn so much about our emotions and stability actually, and we form a lot of these beliefs in childhood, right? That we
Yeah.
take with us into adulthood.
To give you a really interesting add-on to what you're saying. Had a guy come to me the other night. He was at Universal Studios and he was having claustrophobic reactions and he couldn't ride the rides. One time they put the thing down on him to go on the ride and he screamed and the guys got him out and he was embarrassed. So he called me up because he knew I would help him for 15 minutes for free, which I do a lot. And we took that on and that got better, but he still had something else hanging on. It was far beyond that claustrophobic. It
Hmm.
was, he felt trapped by life. And when we went
Oh,
entrapment feeling state, plugged that into the spin as a secondary spin for him, that's what healed him. That's what got him past the claustrophobia and the entrapment that he'd been feeling in his life in so many ways. So it was much bigger than just a little we thought. And it wasn't that he really knew where the root cause was. He just took the feeling states. Those feeling states then were processed without the conscious awareness of all the historicity to a place where he was able to heal that up. So
yeah.
sometimes it's nice to get the root in your cognitive discussion and do work on that and file it away. It's also nice to know that you don't have to remember things that you don't remember. Like pre-verbal, how about age 3 or 2 or 1 or 0?
Talk therapy isn't always the best way, because sometimes like that can actually re-traumatize a person. You know what I mean?
I do.
Um, I've absolutely seen that before. And so like if we can have tools that can remove the trauma out of our nervous system without having to always remember it or talk through it or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Um, and sometimes like I also still like have my clients I know talk to me quite a bit about like some of the stuff that they're going through, because I love also like comparing like their story to that of like something in the New Testament or the Bible or the script or anything scripturally. And Because I find like that's very, very powerful as well to change like the mindset of it. But that's what this spin does, right? Is it helps us to actually take it out, see it, and um and change it, to
Yeah,
something different.
it's really sometimes it's nice to set up a spin with that kind of discussion and then do peace. Yeah, that's really nice
Hmm.
sometimes. It's
Yeah.
perfect. You know what the goal is, you know where you're going. And sometimes it's deeper than you know. And like I explained in the claustrophobia story just a minute ago. So what I find is there's the outside and there's the inside. It says, as a man thinketh. Well, a lot of us have got stuck in the thinketh area.
Hmm.
That as a man thinketh in his heart. So my point of view is unique, I think, in the sense that I find that most people heal better, quicker, better, faster from the resolution of their feeling states, which then allows for the affirmations and all the coping skills to work so much better.
Hmm.
And those are still good out there, and they help to get there sometimes. So don't get me wrong. I'm not against all of that. But I mean, however you get to a place of healing the pain within you, getting it out so those memories file away and don't bother you every day until they get sorted out. That's really important activity. And getting there
Yeah.
through talk therapy is sometimes the way for some people. And and so I say, okay, I don't. If you've been out there for X number of years and you're really ready to make some of those heart changes, let's talk.
Yeah.
Or go to my book at whenindoubt, spinitout.com.
Yep.
It, you can go to my email address which is Michael at whenindoubt, spinitout.com. Or you can just call me at the 435-703-0756. For now, I'm available. I won't be available forever, but I am now.
Well, I love that. I love that. And because yeah, I mean, definitely go check out the book because, Michael's been doing this for years too, the spin therapy.
About 15 years with that, 35 years in the business.
Hmm. Right, right, right. Absolutely. And so, you've had a lot of like clinical trials and stuff like that to see this. And I know I used it quite a bit, sometimes like to help with like frustration and anger. And I will say this that this is where it comes back down to boundaries for me is, frustration is a sign that there's a boundary that we haven't set, right? That's one thing that I've noticed in my own personal life and in my clients' lives. Like when they're like, "Oh, I'm just so frustrated," I'm like, "Ah, we've got a boundary here that we've got to deal with," right? And so, oftentimes when we're spinning out our feelings or we're getting clear on what the emotion is or what like any type of clarity we can have on that type of feeling, right? And this often is uh, well, actually, let me back up. When we have clarity on our feelings, it can give us it can give us clarity on the direction we need to go. And, bringing this back into, the family dynamic that we have. Our families are really, really, really good at showing us what things we still need to work on in our mental and emotional states. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. So, however you get there, it's really important to identify, to notice what you're feeling, notice what you're thinking, notice
Hmm.
what's there, and then decide how you are going to process that out or deal with it. Some things you want to keep them. Like if I'm angry and I want to divorce my wife, maybe I should be angry for a while. Maybe
Hmm.
that's going to need to drive me there. So ecology is important in all that we do. But most of the time, the simple things of life require us to refocus into an area that works better. And if we have a tool or set of tools that allow us to refocus quickly, that's really nice because we don't have to stay stuck in our irrational thinking and feeling, and our anxiety goes down, our depression goes down because our feeling states are calmer and more adjusted and matured. And so that's the kind of thing that we want to really. build out into our people, not only understanding cognitively, but also actually making changes internally through the inner mind and through relaxation and through whatever tools you find are the best for you. Um, and maybe this is a good time to talk about good, better, best, because there are a lot of really good tools
Hmm.
out there, a lot. And for example, I was a CBT instructor or a trainee, and I have a book just full of all the little tricks and trades of shifting your mindset. And there's 25 or 30 on the page. Those are all they're all what I call them. They're all band-aids. All of them are.
Mm, yeah.
They make you feel better for a minute, like a an aspirin, but they don't last. What
Hmm.
we're doing in this work is, and you are and I am, is we
Yes.
are working to assisting people to
Create lasting change.
remarkably actually make changes that last forever. Not, we're talking curative change, not just, quick fix band-aid stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
mental health field is not generally programmed for that. It's usually programmed for medications and other kinds of soothing kinds of activities for who knows how many coping mechanisms for how many times kinds of years. You understand it, you
Yeah.
just don't know how to fix it.
Well, I think that's really interesting that you talked about that, the coping side of things, because I know like when I was going through like some of my really, really serious trauma and it was really, really coming to a head, right? And that was one thing that I had constantly got with past therapists was, and nothing against the therapy world. Like I worked with a lot of really incredible therapists who have a really, really great mindset and who do like the really lasting change. But this was one thing I kept hearing about it. Well, we're going to teach you how to cope with it. We're going to teach you how to cope with it. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, I don't want to cope with it. I've been coping with it already. I want to heal,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? I really, really want healing. And, I was sitting there thinking the healing had to come from my husband, or the healing had to come from my mom, or the healing had to come from all these places before I could finally heal because I couldn't heal if they kept cutting me, right? But the thing that I didn't realize is I didn't have to let them cut me, right? And it wasn't until I started actually understanding these concepts and like these tools, like you're talking about, and actually utilizing these tools that healing happened. Because I guarantee you, I can tell you with 100% surety that I don't look at like what people do to me anymore as like, oh, well, now I can't heal. I look at it as, oh, well, that's interesting. Like, why did that show up? Right?
Yep. And if you have something that doesn't pass that litmus test that you just described, that you can notice it, but it still makes you react, and you don't know where it's coming from, that's when you go to things like the spin and the self-forgiveness plan that we have, and or another advanced method of taking the pain out, basically vacuuming and deleting and um, related processes that will take the pain right out of you, out of that part of you that's been storing it, so that you don't need to carry it anymore. And then the reactions no longer happen anymore. So if you're coping along and you just have to keep coping, you're tired of coping, that's the time to call someone with the kinds of expertise we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It can take you the rest of the way and you can feel better finally.
Yes. And not just better, but actually feel like you're thriving.
Yeah, the outcome is unafraid, unoffendable, and just plain happy.
Exactly. 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 Okay. So let's bring this back into the happy, healthy family, right? So we've got say like we've got a female entrepreneur. She's building her business, whether it be online or a brick and mortar, right? And she feels like her family's just in constant chaos, and she's constantly having to be taken from her work, um, constantly distracted but from her work, etc., because there's just all this chaos in her family. What would you recommend she does?
I would recommend for right now to this very day, I would recommend that she attend our class that we're doing next week, which is 3 1-hour pieces that are designed to answer that question in a way that really works for a lifetime. That's where I would go to that kind of free opportunity to learn things like the spin and a whole routine that, when built into the fabric of the individual and the family's life gradually, begins to really create happy families, one annoyance away at a time, one sibling rivalry away at a time. When mom stops being hurt by disrespectful children because she knows better and she feels better and she's strong enough. That changes the whole family dynamic. When a grandson of mine stopped feeling annoying and just loved his sister, that changes the family dynamic, one of the
Mm,
pieces. And you
yeah.
change most of those pieces around and make that into a an ongoing process, and you have the resilient, happy family. And that's the outcome that you want. You start with whatever you got and you work your way there. It's not all at once. It's a one step at a time, but it can happen. I'd say within 90 days, a family can be 100, be fully on board and operational within that system. And that's the kind of thing that we're working on through the class that we're doing. Um, and if people are interested in that class, they can just go to uh, email me at Michael at whenindoubt.spinitout.com and I'll give them the details.
Love it. And it's a free class too.
It's a free
Yeah.
class. It's just
Yeah, it's a
one
free
hour.
class.
So just go to my website or to my email address at when in doubt, it says Michael at whenindoubt.spinitout.com for the upcoming dates that'll be available for anybody to attend for free.
Okay. Love it. I love it. All right, guys. Um, Micheal Blair, what a fun, wonderful guy. Like, I'll tell you something, guys. He really does help us so much. He helped our family a lot, and has helped our family a lot in, emotional regulation and with his spin therapy and the things that he has personally helped us and taught us with. So I love Micheal. You'll love Micheal, especially if you need somebody who just really, really understands you and just gets you. Michael's the guy to go chat with for sure.
And I can say I've been in love with Aaron for years. So Um, it's a mutual approbation thing. We're on the same page and we're on the same kind of mission. And isn't it wonderful that we can share that together today?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I appreciate that. And I'll say too, like if you are the mama that is struggling with, you know, feeling like you've got all that chaos happening in your family. The other thing that's amazing too is learning how to spin it out helps you understand a little bit more about yourself and who you are, who you want to be. And once we start living from that space, it is amazing to see, like you said, the peace that comes back into our home just because we are being our another version of our truest self. So, the next highest version of our truest self, I should say.
You got it loud and clear. It's true.
Yeah.
It's a progressive opportunity for each of us to establish a routine in our miracle mornings or in our lives that fuels us and fires us up and keeps us focused and balanced in the four areas that hold up the chair, the physical,
Yeah.
emotional, the spiritual, and mental. And it's really exciting that we actually have pathways and tools to be able to do that today, which we did not even
Yeah.
know about probably 5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah. 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 And it's true. It's true. And we're getting so many good things coming down the pipeline, to us and that we can give to our clients and our clients can give to their customers, et cetera, et cetera. Like we really do have some great things coming and so grateful. So
It's
grateful for it.
really nice to know that we can step into taking really good care of ourselves, so much so that we don't really need any longer to go dipping into the regular expense and time of a mental health practitioner, that we can actually step beyond that and
Mm.
be it's no more band-aids anymore. And that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
isn't helpful, because it's maybe that's part of the process of getting there, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it has to be a process to get to a stable, 80, 90% happy place and
Yeah.
stay there for most of the time. And that's what we're talking about here.
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. Michael, thanks so much for being here today. My listeners, go check Michael out. And it's at, what is the website again? Give it a, just give it.
When in doubt, spinitout.com.
And there's his book as well. So, and as well the class that he offers for the family. So go check it out, guys. You will love Michael just as much as I do. We have a lot of fun talking about mental health stuff and like how to help our clients. And we just have a great old time when we collaborate together. So, all right, everyone, until next week, I'll see you soon. Bye.
All right, Boundary Boss Babes. I'm super excited that you tuned in with me today. Make sure you tune in again next week as we chat about more Boundary Boss Babe topics. We're going to get into so many other things about how to set boundaries with your business, how to set boundaries with your relationships, so you can truly have the time, the money, and the flexibility that you are seeking. So tune in next week. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Let your other Boss Babe friends know about it. And also, if you've got any questions, make sure you submit them into the podcast by clicking on the send us a text message at the bottom of the podcast description. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. See you later, Boss Babes.